Right, we're down here at the Islands Fishery for a couple of nights. Me and Charlie got down here last night, managed to get the rods out. Nothing during the night, but we've had a bit of a crazy morning, and these two are certainly the pick of the fish. But it's been crazy, hasn't it?
Yeah, just like Jay says, bit quiet night, and then just turned into absolute carnage. Again, these two being the pick of the bunch, with a few more to show you as well. So
let's get these back because the temperature's getting pretty hot, and get the others out and then show you how we managed to catch these. Right, so it's been a very eventful start to the session so far. We got here quite late last night, wasn't it?
yeah, for about 7-8 o'clock.
Yeah, that's it. And we decided to do something we don't normally do. We decided to kind of get base camp set up first. We got our bivvy set up and got everything in order. I think the main reason was to watch the water, see if we could see any fish or see if we could see anything obvious. And it was as hot then as what it is now as well. So.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been quite easy to turn up, chuck rods out, and it's sod's law that you chuck your rods out and they're not on spots that you would want to fish when you start seeing fish elsewhere. So, like you say, that was the plan: is to set up, watch the water while we're doing it, and give us a better idea of roughly where we wanted to fish. I think
that's it. And we're here. We're here for quite a bit of time as well. So it gave us a chance to look at the water. So I think it was probably about 10:30, 11 o'clock when we actually got our rods out last night, and it was pretty quiet. I think you picked up a tench in the night.
Yeah, small tench.
Yeah, and I picked up a small 7-pound mirror, but there was nothing else then until about 4 o'clock in the morning.
About 4 o'clock, yeah.
And total chaos kicked off. Yeah, it was crazy. So my rod goes off. And I'm playing that, and Charlie's heard it, and he's run round. It's could see it was quite a decent fish, and you were just about to net it for me.
Yeah. And then my receiver kicked into life. Quickly ran back to my swim. Ended up banking that nice linear. Left it in the net. Came back to you. Yeah. Netted yours. And then not long after that, you had another one.
Yeah, common carp.
Nice common.
Yeah. And
then back to me, and then I had my small mirror, and then again you had another common after that.
Yeah, and that one just touched 20 pounds, which can't believe that. I'm really happy. So we expected really tough conditions. We expected to work really hard for anything during the day and pick fish up during the night, but to get a first night like that and have those fish, it's much better than what we could have hoped for. So.
Worth saying as well is that sometimes people will only catch that in a day.
Yeah.
And so for that to happen in literally a space of a couple of hours was, so when we say carnage, it was carnage.
Oh, it was unbelievable, yeah. There's nets and slings and all sorts everywhere. So we just about recovered from that carnage now. We've had to take half an hour, get some fluid inside us. Temperatures hit 20s already, and it's still quite early in the morning. So we're gonna get the rods back out, and then we're going to sit down and talk you through how we've got those carp, run through the spots and show you how we're fishing.
Right, so we're just going to talk to you about how I've approached the session. Like Jay says, obviously the rods went out about 10:30, 11 o'clock, and it's literally just a case of watching the water with as much light as we can to then base our approach on that. So the lake's quite heavily fished, and you'll find that most weekends it's fully booked every swim, and so you pre-book your swim. So really what you book is what you've got to work with. But we saw a few fish milling about. Like I say, as it's heavily fished, I tend to go the opposite way and keep my baiting approach very minimal. And by doing that, I use just simple solid bags, and especially in this kind of weather with the high visibility, then I'll use like a fluoro kind of wafter. And essentially, my opinion of it is you're tricking the carp into feeding on just that kind of 1 or 2 mouthfuls worth of pellet just in the solid bag, and essentially taking that hook bait and catching the fish. So in terms of finding the spots, it's literally worth putting the time in. Like I say, because you pre-book your swim and that's what you've got to work with, it's worth just putting in an hour, having a lead about, trying to find the spots that you want to fish, because you find yourself just fishing spots that really aren't any good. You just waste time. So it's that whole cliche, you know, 1 rod in the right place is better than 3 in the wrong. But like I say, put the extra time in and just make sure you get 3 rods on all good spots, and you'll catch carp. So in terms of the spots that I've found and I'm fishing, I mean, it's quite self-explanatory. You've got various islands throughout the lake and channels that run between every swim. But in my swim in particular, I've got a bay up against an island, which is quite a hard gravel patch over there. So so that one's going out on there. Again, I've got a channel in between another swim opposite, which is usually a bit of a hot spot. So I've got that one there. And on my right hand side, I've got an overhanging bush, which I saw a few carp kind of rolled yesterday evening anyway. And so it was silly not to, ignore those signs. So yeah, that's where I'm fishing. So yeah, fingers crossed we have another evening this evening like we did yesterday evening.
Right, as we were saying, we got down to the lake late last night, decided to kind of set up the bivvy and get ready before we actually started fishing. And that reason really was to give us a bit of a chance to have a good look over the swim, have a good look to see if any carp were showing in any spots. It's a very unique lake, I think, as Charlie alluded to, in that you book your swim and you're kind of confined to this, good or bad, for the whole session really. You can't kind of move around to try and find the fish if they're moving, so you've got to make the best with what you've got. So those couple of hours that we spent really kind of watching, keeping an eye on the water, looking for movements, really did pay off. And then we followed that up with a little bit of leading around, and we found some spots last night which obviously paid dividends. I had fish off of all 3 of my spots. There's various cut-throughs and islands here, and the fish did seem to be kind of clinging quite tight to the margins. So I've got a couple in margin spots and one kind of in open water through a cut through. Lots of activity, lots of fish showing when we got there yesterday, but like I say, that's as the sun was going down. We're in the middle of a heat wave. It's 27 degrees at the moment, which makes the fishing quite tricky, and also the fish had spawned a couple of weeks ago, so they haven't quite got the feeding right. They're not feeding heavily, so we're kind of taking a lighter bait approach and kind of picking them off fish at a time. Things are going to be really, really difficult during the days. It's so hot. The fish look lethargic. They're not really interested. They're kind of just cruising and bobbing about in the margins, and they're not really taking baits. I did pop a zig out earlier on. No takers on that. I've just been kind of casting a Ronnie rig at showing fish. No takers on that. So I think it's really a case now of just waiting till the evening, waiting for that temperature to drop kind of 10-12 degrees, getting on the right spots, and hoping bite time's the same today as what it was yesterday. There we go. We were just polishing off our barbecue, talking about when we thought the first fish would come, and There's 2 beeps and this one was away. And it's just under 20 pounds, 19 pound 10. And hopefully this is the start of a productive bite time and we could all get into a few fish. But I'm absolutely delighted with that. It's time to hopefully get ready for a bit of action now after what's been a really, really long, hot and sticky day with a lot of carp that were lethargic and not really wanting to play ball. So it's a good start. Let's hope it's the first of a few. Well, I'm absolutely made up with this one. We were just sat there. It's an hour or so after I caught the last fish and the conditions are completely changing. There's a breeze for the first time while we've been here. It's gone a bit cloudy and overcast and it just feels a lot fresher. And I was just saying it feels good for a bite. And all of a sudden my rod screams off, right hand margin. And one of the nicest fish I've caught in a long time and I'm absolutely buzzing. I'm so happy. It's on a rosehip isotonic. Caught me some nice fish over the years, but this one's right up there. What a fish. And it's still so early in the evening as well, so there's a chance of more. Happy days. Right, this is getting a little bit unbelievable now. Another one, mid-double, a lovely scaly fish again. And just like we thought really, as soon as that sun dropped and the temperature started cooling, as long as we're on our spots, we start picking up fish. And I've had a good hour or so. So I'm really happy. And let's hope me and Charlie can get a few more through the night now. It's certainly looking good for it.
Well, there we go, just gone first light, and as you can see we've had a bit of a result. Again, same tactics, really just minimal bait but keeping them just on one spot and just going for a bite at a time. So an absolutely stunning mirror for me.
Yeah, lovely dumpy little common carp and just keeping things going really. Similar sort of time, early this morning, couple of bites. You got another one, haven't you?
I've got another one in the sling, yeah.
So yeah, really productive and you know, just kind of not really looking forward to the prospect of that hot sun coming out. But what a good night.
So just into another fish this morning. Just literally fishing towards an island in front of a snaggy bush, which I actually lost one to this morning as well. So it's nice to actually get a bit of redemption. In. Right, so there's another carp on the bank. We'll get a few seals and I'll talk you through how I've been catching these fish. Okay, so it's an absolute scorcher down here today, and now we've hit a quiet time of the day, we thought it'd be best to take this opportunity to show you how we're fishing today, baits and I suppose methods. So I think we're fishing in a similar sort of way, aren't we, really?
Yeah, that's it.
In terms of method.
Yep.
So for me, solid bag, absolute proven carp catching method. In terms of bait, literally just bellish and shrimp and Atlantic crab 4mm pellets mixed. And what I've done is on a roughly about 3.5 inch rig is with these 6mm Mistral pop-ups, I've actually cut two slightly and put them together to create that kind of barrel, and just on a bait screw. But yeah, simple stuff, you know, certainly not groundbreaking, but very, very effective.
Been doing the job for you.
Yeah, it's definitely put fish on the bank, so.
That's it, yeah.
But you're fishing very similar, but slightly...
Yeah, very similar. I suppose when we got here and we decided to kind of get the gear set up, it gave us the opportunity to kind of have a look at the swims during bite time. So we're able to pick out a few spots, and because the weather being so unpredictable, fish not long having spawned, we wanted to go with a kind of minimal bait approach. We didn't want to kind of pile it in, just kind of get some spots going and build it up through the session. So picked about 4 spots, got some a nice scattering mix of Atlantic crab pellets, some hemp, some sweet corn, some 10mm rosehip isotonic boilies. I like the mixture of boilies, pellets and something natural. I don't know, I think of myself, I like a balanced meal. I'm sure the fish do too, but I just think that the colours, the attractants, everything about that is screaming fish. On top of that, I've got a solid bag, a 50-50 split, 10mm rosehip isotonic boilies, Atlantic crab pellets, and I've got a little rosehip pop-up in there that sits just above that on that pile of bait, and it's been doing the trick. So yeah, we're really happy with how that's going. So very similar rig to what Charlie's using, solid bag rig, about 4.5 inches in size, size 8 hook, so slightly smaller, which I think works quite well with the 10mm pop-up. And again, rose hips, because they've been around for 30 years, they've caught fish all over the world, and you know, unpredictable conditions, I knew they would catch fish here today. So yeah, getting around to bite time again, so I think we're just going to go and refresh the rods, aren't we?
Yeah, fresh bags on,
yeah.
Get the rods back out.
Wait for this sun to drop, and hopefully we'll be back into a few more fish. There we go, right on cue. We just had our dinner, just settled down, just had a bit of a tidy up. I was just saying to the guys, I reckon we'll have a fish about 7:50, 7:57. The alarms scream off, and lovely mid-double mirror, and there's time for a few more tonight, so let's get this one back and hopefully we can keep this going. But yeah, definitely feels like bite time now. Very happy with that.
And there's another one for me that's come this morning, and to be honest, I think it's going to be the last of the session for me. It's come amongst the slow pack down, so I'm be surprised if I saw any more. But yeah, caught in the same tactics as we showed you earlier, and that I've been using for the whole of the session. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed watching. I've thoroughly enjoyed it as well, and it just felt right for it this morning. I'm going to hand you over to Jay, because I hear he's had a bit of a mental morning, so stay tuned.
Right, it's always great to get down the Islands Fishery. I try and get here a couple of times a year, and it's always a good trip. It can be a bit moody, believe it or not. I know it's not looked like it this session, but you know, so a lot of the time I get down here, 2, 3, 4 carp over a couple of days is a bit of a result, and I'm sure some of the locals will tell you that as well. So it's great that we've had the session that we've had, and the tactics have worked really. And this morning, the kind of madness has carried on. I've got 3 carp there. All the rods have gone off over a very short space of time, and unbelievable really. So first light, I'd probably say about 4:45. My left hand rod's gone off the furthest, and I brought in a small common. Obviously they're all welcome. I'll take any fish, I always will. But just as I've got that in the net, middle one's gone, and that's given me quite a scrap really. It's a really hard fighting, beautiful linear. As soon as I saw that hit the net, I was pretty happy because it looked pretty spectacular, and it's quite a unique fish, to be honest with you. It almost looks like it's never been caught. Really good condition, and I've kind of put that down, taken a breather, just composed myself and just tidied up the area a little bit, and then all of a sudden rod number 3's gone off, and I'm playing that there, and I'm having to scramble about for a net, and again, good little fight, and next thing you know, I've got another common carp, again quite small but unique looking, different coloured scale patterns on it, nice to catch, and I'm sat there afterwards in a swim of carnage, 3 fish in the net, and I can't believe it. So the madness has just carried on throughout the session. I think I'm up to carp number 14 or 15. Charlie's had a good few as well, so couldn't have asked for a better session. It's been absolutely fantastic. I mean, like we said at the start, we can't choose the swim because that's pre-booked. We can only work with what we've got, but we've really worked these spots in the swim, keeping bait going in little and often. That's kind of built up to probably 7 or 8 kilos of bait going in over the session now, but they've really responded to the rose hips in this swim, and it's been one of my favourite sessions I've had in a long time. So yeah, maybe there's time for one more, but really happy with this. Right, there we go. I can't think of a better way than to end this session with this lovely, hard fighting, very angry common carp, just under 20 pounds. But the tactics have really paid off in this session. It's been tricky at times, especially during the day, but the effort we put in building up these spots and getting them going has really paid off in the end, and it's been a session to remember, that's for sure. See you again.